how are you, first and foremost? Because I can imagine this has been quite a day for you. You've had a lot of difficult conversations to have over the last 24 hours. Has it been one of your most difficult days with that in mind, as England manager?
Yeah, no question. I think one of the most difficult parts of the job, definitely. We're a close team, and I think everybody, players, staff, have felt the last couple of days. We knew this decision was looming. We've still felt we've been able to make better decisions in terms of injuries and availability by giving ourselves more time. But of course that means that you've got this difficult scenario where people are having to wait for bad news, and tried to do it as respectfully and with as much human side as possible. But I also know that for the players that aren't coming with us, that's a devastating blow, and I mean they've all been amazing with how they've dealt with it, but I know that it's a difficult day for them and for the teammates, because they're of course really excited about going, and they should be, and they've done unbelievably well, in a lot of cases, to push some experienced players out of the squad. But we've got that balance of excitement and a bit of remorse for a difficult day.
Probably you'll have known that the headlines were going to be made by the absences of Jack Grealish and James Maddison, two players who've done a lot for you, been very experienced and have been a big part of the squad in recent tournaments. Why are they not here, and how did they take the news when you told them?
Well, as I said, all of the players took the news really respectfully. Of course, all players are going to believe they should be in, and that's why they're top players, because they have that self-belief and they have that mindset as well. But the fact is, we've got some players who have been playing extremely well all season in the league, and we just feel other players have had stronger seasons, particularly in the last 6 months or so. I think we saw some fantastic performances the other night that underlined some of that, and the attacking areas of the pitch in particular, we're blessed with a lot of options, all slightly different. Of course, Madders and Jack both give us something different as well. So they've been tough calls. They've been calls that we've gone over and over and over as a group of staff, to try to be fair, to try to get the right rationale, and we back our decisions, but we recognise we could have gone a different route, and both of the boys are big characters, fabulous teammates, great boys to work with. So yeah, sad to have to deliver that news to them.
In preparing for your announcement all week, all of us guys in this room have looked at what you've done in the past and the balance you've had in the squad, how many players in each position, for example. And in the previous tournaments, you've had 9 or 10 defenders on each occasion. This time, you've got a lot of injury concerns still in defence, and yet you're only taking 8. Why is that?
Well, Trent obviously can play both, and yeah, I think we were 9 in the last couple of tournaments when I looked through. So I think we're the same. That was part of the reason that in the end we couldn't take Harry Maguire, because we would have had to have taken a 10th, and I think that balance wouldn't be right. It would have left us short in other areas of the pitch. Harry has made some progress, but that's been complicated, and we definitely wouldn't have had him in the group stages, and there was too many hurdles to get through without really being clear of where we might get to. So, and given that we've not got a clean bill of health across the rest of the back line as well, then that became, we need cover, we need players that are fit and ready to go from the start. So again, another really difficult call. You know how I feel about Harry Maguire and what he's done for England, and what he's done for me as a manager. So yeah, that's a slightly different case to the other two, but no easier because of that.
Really brief follow-up, I'm sorry, probably just a one-word answer. Have you got any other defenders or any other players on standby because you can make changes up to the final game, of course.
Yeah, Jarrod Konsa has stayed with us. I think he's not had the experience of an England international at Wembley, so I think that would be great for him to be with us for the game. And we'll go from there. Hopefully, we're not needing to call anybody else in.
Carry around.
Hi Gareth, you just alluded to it there, but a massive blow for Harry Maguire. How much did that recent injury compound his exclusion? And in terms of succession planning, you've been playing Marc Guehi. How much is he ready to step into those shoes, and how is Harry?
Yeah, well, the decision on Harry is totally about his physical condition, recovery from the injury. So there is no other reason. He's obviously one of our strongest centre-backs. In terms of those that can come in, clearly, Lewis and Marc played the other night, but Ezri Konsa's had an excellent season at Aston Villa. We've been using him as a fullback in some of the recent games, but he also played at centre half for us in March and was outstanding. And that's probably, well, it is his strongest position. So there are various options there, as well as the fact that Joe Gomez can play in a number of different positions.
You've never taken your position in this England squad for granted, but we expected your name here. But some positive news on a tough day for Kobbie and Adam. How impressed have you been with them, and what can you expect to see from them in this European Championship?
Yeah, I think we see in the last camp against Belgium and Brazil what Kobbie could do, and obviously the last 6 months, all season really, what he's done at Man United. Fully deserves his place in the squad. And obviously Adam played his first half of the season in the Championship, come from Crystal Palace now. It's been outstanding, and I think in training he's impressed a lot of the players. So composed and calm on the ball. He's got a beautiful left foot, really crisp passing, and all round just a really down-to-earth boy who wants to learn. He's still obviously only 20 years old, but to be on the plane to go to his first European Championships, what a moment for him and his family. And I know he's one who won't take it for granted. He'll be ready when called upon. I think you see the other night how composed he is, and he's ready for the big stage. I think he's one of them that doesn't get fazed by big things. So yeah, 2 great additions, and see the future's looking bright for England in midfield.
Gareth, some are saying this is the best ever England squad that's been selected. You've got 10 forwards. You've named 3 strikers. Is that because we're going to see a more forward attacking England, or is that a bit of a realisation when you saw Kane's back injury and wanting to account for that?
Well, in terms of a more attacking, I'm repeating myself from the other day, but we've scored more goals than any other generation other than Walter Winterbottom's, so I think we have been attacking. The different profile of strikers is the reason for 3. They all offer something different. We know that Harry is the starting guy, but Ollie and Ivan have different attributes and different strengths that we might need at any given time in a game. So I think the way the game is now is 5 changes for the competitive games. The demands on the squad across the season, I think the squad is going to be so important, and we've got tremendous energy, we've got different profiles of players, different options, and we'll use them.
Gareth, hi. It looks like you're likely to start with 4 right-footed defenders against Serbia. Is that, as a defender, former defender yourself, is there a concern about the balance, and was Branthwaite a consideration?
I think it's a bit early for Jarrod. He has had a fabulous season, and it was good to get him on the pitch the other night. But of course, in an ideal world, you'd like that balance of left-footers. But I think for him to be in ahead of the others, I don't think that would have been the right call at this stage. And at left-back, that's why we've taken what I think is a calculated risk with Luke, and I think that's a risk worth taking.
James on.
Hi, Gareth. At the squad announcement, you mentioned that you'd never had so many unknowns before. In the end, have you been able to pick the squad that you wanted?
Well, things change from week to week during the season and month to month. So, of course, we're a lot of changes from Qatar, if you go as far back as that. So it's impossible to say what's the squad you want. The squad we've wanted is the one we've picked because we think it's the best equipped in this moment in time. And I think the decision on picking a squad is always a moment in time, and you're trying to balance experience, where we've got, I think, 11 players who've been to 3 tournaments or more, with younger players who are playing so well that we can't ignore what they're doing. And we've always tried to do that. Sometimes you perhaps regenerate the group more than you were expecting a couple of months ago. But that's going to bring and has already brought a hunger, a competitiveness. The key now is we've got to bond as a group, and there's obviously some players that have been with us a long time where those bonds are really strong, and we've got to find that, and the group have got to work together. They've got to realise that when we pick teams, and the 15 who are disappointed, they'll be key each match to us doing well, because a lot of them are going to come into the game, the atmosphere around the hotel, the way we are on the training ground. These are the key things of success in tournaments. So some of the guys haven't experienced that at senior level. We've got some junior World Cup winners in that group and junior Euros winners, so they've got tournament experience. And we've got good guys, good professionals, really good professionals in that group. So I'm not concerned about that, but it's part of what we have to work on over the coming weeks.
And you mentioned obviously a lot of players, young players, have made a late run for this squad. Bearing that in mind, as you sit there now, do you know you're starting 11 for the first game, or are there kind of places up for grabs at the Euros?
Whenever you write a team sheet down at the beginning of a week, it's very rare you get to the end of the week and something hasn't happened. So, we're pretty clear on where we're heading, but you've always got to be adaptable because circumstances change things.
And you've faced the accusation in the past of being too loyal to certain players, but I think half the squad from the last World Cup was gone. Does that sort of prove that idea is a bit of a fallacy?
I've always said, I do feel loyalty to players because that's what helps to build a team. And equally, why was that? Well, because we felt they were the best players in those positions, had proven themselves. Now, some of those have been ruled out with physical issues this time, and others have come through and, going right the way back to when we first put Jordan Pickford in goal, or when we put Harry Maguire into our defence, or when we put Bukayo Saka on the wing. They were because they emerged as players that we felt were the right ones to put in the team at that time, and that's what we've done over the last few months. I think some of that's been accelerated because of availability of others, but people have gone in and proven themselves either with us or with their clubs or both.
Gabriel Clark.
Yeah, hi Gareth. Luke Shaw hasn't played since February. When will he be fit to play for England? And obviously, how much of a risk is that fitness, and a calculated risk is it?
Yeah, he's progressed really well in the last couple of weeks. At the moment, we think he could have some involvement in the second group game. But of course, you've got to keep hitting the markers, but he's had a good volume of work, operating at good speeds as well. So, I think you can take one gamble, and that's a gamble that we've got enough evidence to believe can pay off. And also positionally, because of what he brings with his experience, the fact he's a left footer who can drive forward and give us a different sort of attacking option as well, then that's a situation we wanted to explore.
And it's your fourth time in this position, having named a squad and made some difficult choices. How do you feel about this team's potential? How do you feel about the specific qualities this group has compared to others that might make the difference?
Yeah, I'm excited. the other night we had a lot of experienced attacking players not on the starting grid, and we had a lot of goals in the team still, and we were able to bring players from the bench who can score goals. So in my head, in an attacking sense, that's really crucial. And yeah, the rest of the team, the profile of our midfield, the way that we're moving the ball more quickly forward, seeing forward passes, that excites me. When I'm watching training, it excites me. So yeah, in terms of where we are, we're excited about what we have. Of course, you're going into a tournament, there's always the unknown of how that will play out. But there's also a lot of experience of tournaments in the group and a lot of experience of big matches with the clubs as well. And all of that adds in the mix for us being a good team.
Can you go if you can pass the microphone now? Thank you.
There's some experienced players missing from this squad, like Jordan Henderson, Harry Maguire, who you've kind of always looked up to kind of lead on and off the pitch. Now that they're not here, who are kind of the players that you're looking to kind of step up and lead the team to victory? Yeah,
leadership is a really important part of any successful team, and we still have a lot of players with 50-plus caps. Jordan Pickford, Kyle Walker, John Stones, Declan, Harry Kane. Kieran Trippier is very close to that figure. You know, we have young players that have leadership as well. So we've always been blessed that we've got a lot of leaders in the group, probably more than a lot of teams. So there is a balance of those things. We need that balance. And also other people will emerge now. You know, we'll see characters emerge as we work together through the coming month, and you know, that's also a nice thing to see a group develop and the energy come and to see how they form.
Hi, Gareth. There's a lot of bookmakers indicating England as the favourite to win the tournament. Would you embrace this role when you go to Germany, or are you more aware of that, as you said, in a tournament everything can happen?
Well, firstly, we're clearly not allowed to bet.
Of course.
But in my experience of bookmakers, the reason that they're favourites in your own country is because more people back your own country and they don't want to lose any money if it works out that way, so they play a statistical game. There are lots of teams that could win. I think it's a very open tournament. We're excited about our prospects, we're experienced, but we know we have to deliver in this moment, and tournaments are a snapshot of a moment, and you've got to deliver your best across the month, and that's the challenge we have to hit.
And for you, Declan, you're obviously the main player in the midfield. How do you feel the responsibility of being the main guy in a crucial part of the pitch?
To be honest with you, I don't put too much pressure on my shoulders. You know, whether it's me playing six in a double pivot or I'm playing on my own, you know, Gareth will obviously always pick the other two players, and I'm sure whoever steps in will give 100% because we've got one aim this tournament, and that is, you know, collectively as a group to win the tournament, of course. But to come with that in midfield, such a crucial part of it is the hard work inside of it. You know, you can be so good on the ball, but in these major tournaments against the best sides, you need to have that, you know, heart, grit, desire, you know, to not want to concede goals and be savvy. And yeah, I'm looking forward to taking on that responsibility, as well as, you know, all the other midfielders are as well.
Go back to Rob Dorset, then Henry after.
Declan, I'm sorry we've asked lots of questions to the boss. It's that sort of day.
That's all right, no problem.
Nobody's actually said congratulations to you, because this is a special achievement, and I know you guys never take it for granted.
Yeah.
But you've had to see some of your mates that you've become very close to leave the squad in the last 24 hours. The manager said that's been difficult for him. How's it been for you?
Yeah, it's been really tough. Obviously, Madders and Jack are probably two of my best mates in the squad. Probably spent most of my time with them since I've been here. So obviously, see them go is, you know, it's not a nice feeling. But they both just said then, you know, before they went, Madders last night, Jack just now, you know, that they wish us all the best. They're really positive and upbeat. Obviously, they're gutted that they've been left out of the squad, but I think that's one thing that, you know, Gareth's got spot on, is that we're so close as a group, and there's no one that's feeling really bitter about being left out. It's more about the team, and, you know, them guys wished us all the best, as did all the others. yeah, I'm obviously gutted. But look, in football, it's one of them things. You know, managers have tough decisions to make, and you know that's part of the role that comes with it. So there's not really much I can say on that. Obviously, I'm gutted that they're gone, but they're really, really supportive of what we're about to do.
Can I ask you about Adam Wharton as well?
Yeah.
A man who's in the squad at the age of 20 after an extraordinary season with Palace. I mean, he's only just made his debut for the 21s.
Yeah.
And he's suddenly going to a major tournament. What qualities do you see in him?
I think there's a difference you can see between players that are top-level players at 20 and players that are just on the cuff of stuff. And he's top-level. He's really, really top-level. At 20 years old, he sees a pass early, left and right foot. Like I said, it's impressive the way he passes a ball. Whether it's only 5 or 10 yards, there's just a crispness to it that's really impressive. He's really calm, composed, relaxed. You speak to the Crystal Palace boys about him. He's shocked them on how well he's done. But look, he's 20 years old. It's his first tournament. So important we don't put too much pressure on him. Let's just let him flourish. And England have an amazing midfielder that's going to come through, I'm sure, for the next 10-15 years.
Henry?
Gareth, just back on the strikers, because Harry Kane is likely to start every game, do you have to spend a little bit longer on the number two and number three, Watkins, Toney, whichever order, because they're quite singular creatures, strikers? Do they need a little bit of extra love?
I think all forward players do, strikers, wingers. I think they recognise, they recognise the calibre of the man ahead of them. But it is a different dynamic for them. At their clubs, they are the men that everybody looks to, and so that you feel differently. But they're both very, very good players, and they're here because we believe in them. And at the moments that they're needed, that they'll deliver. And but yeah, absolutely, I think they give time to all of the players. So, but I do recognise that dynamic on attacking players. They need to feel confident, and they need to feel there's belief in them.
Okay, we'll finish with one or two from Kerry.
And looking ahead to the game this weekend, vital preparation. Is Harry Kane ready to play a full 90 for you tomorrow? What's the full update on the squad and who will be available?
Yeah, good question. So Luke still in rehab. Lewis Dunk won't be available for tomorrow, but we'll be able to train from beginning of next week. I think everybody else is available for tomorrow. Harry, yes, could play 90. Not sure he will. No other concerns at the moment.
And for those players that haven't made selection now, is the door closed or is it fully open for them to get back into the squads? We've seen their statement, as Dec has said, they're all fully behind this England side.
No, look, as I said, they've been incredibly professional. We completely understand their disappointment, and they'll always be there for the team. We're obviously hoping that eventuality doesn't happen, because it means somebody else would miss out on something through injury. So let's hope we can get through tomorrow okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.